Hello and welcome. I am Raghav, and in this part of Appium, we are going to start with our first complete recording session using Appium and Appium Inspector. This is going to be very easy and very interesting. We are going to see the complete process and we are going to explore Appium Inspector, all its parts, all its functionalities, all its steps completely with a hands-on practical demo. So you can do this along with me, and whenever you have any questions or any issues, you can let me know in the comment section. So we will learn how to use Appium Inspector with real devices and emulators. In the earlier session, we have already seen how we can set up a real device and how we can set up emulators. Then we will do a complete practical hands-on and we will take a complete tour of Appium Inspector. Here we will see each and every functionality, each and every tab. We will explore all the tabs and all the functionalities of Appium Inspector. We will also learn how we can do different mobile actions and gestures using Appium Inspector, and then how we can record all these actions, all these gestures, and then we can get a script with our recording, and then we can also export that script or copy that script in different programming languages. So this is going to be very interesting. So let's get started, and let us start with step number 1. So we will start Appium. To start Appium, we use the command Appium, or we can also add the flag -- allow CORS. So when we use this flag, then we allow cross origin resource sharing. So if you want to use the desktop version of Appium Inspector, then this should be fine. You can start using Appium, or even if you add this flag, that will be fine. But if you are using the browser version of Appium Inspector by going to this particular link that we have already seen in the earlier session, in that case you will have to start Appium on your system using this flag allow CORS, so that we can connect Appium with Appium Inspector. So let us see. First I will go to my terminal. Now here I am on my Mac system, and this process is going to be exactly same on Windows and Mac. Therefore you can follow it on any operating system. The process is exactly the same. If you are on Windows, you can go to your command line and start Appium. So I can say Appium and hit enter, and this should start the Appium server, and you can see it has started on this host and port. And if I want, I will stop it by pressing Ctrl C on my keyboard, and I can also start using Appium -- allow CORS. So I can use this flag, and then this will also start Appium, and here we can see it has started on this host and port, and then we can also see this allow CORS is true here. Okay, so we will start Appium, and then we will start Appium Inspector. And we have already seen in the earlier session we can download Appium Inspector and run the executable file, set it up on our system to use the desktop app, or we can directly go to this link to start the browser version of Appium Inspector. Now when you are using a browser version of Appium Inspector, it may happen that if you are using a particular browser and you have already started the Appium on your system using this allow CORS flag, still it is not able to connect, and that may be some limitation, or maybe something with the browser. It may be like some external connections are not allowed, or maybe some firewall issues, some VPN issues. In that case, you can try different browsers. Like when I tried it on a Chrome browser and it was working fine, but otherwise you can try different things. And finally, if you're not able to use the browser version, you can always use the desktop version. Okay, so we are done with step number 1 and 2, and let me start Appium Inspector also on my system here. So I'm for now starting the desktop version of Appium Inspector. Okay, and we have already seen the basic things of Appium Inspector in the earlier session. So just in case you want to start from scratch, like downloading, setting it up, and all other things, that you can watch the earlier session as well. And we will now go to the session builder screen. Okay, So in Appium Inspector, we have a session builder, this screen that comes up as you start Appium Inspector, where we create the session by giving the device capabilities, also by putting our Appium server host details here, and then adding the desired capability of the mobile device and the application we want to use. So this is the session builder, and once we start the session of Appium Inspector, that is the session inspector window or session inspector screen. Okay, so now this is our session builder screen. Here we have to add our Appium server details that we have started. Now you can see here Appium on my system is started on this host and port, which is the default host and port. So the same thing are here, and this is by default the default host and port are already here, but just in case you want to change it, you can use different host and port, and the same thing you should also add here. Now this thing we have done, we have seen in our, I think, the very first session where we learned how to set up Appium on Windows and Mac OS. And yes, you can see here are here is a chart with all the flags we can use with Appium command. So if you want to change the address or the host, we can use this hyphen address and give the here host. Then we can also change the port, we can say session override, log level we can set here, we can set local time zone, we can also set Chrome executable information, then relax security, allow insecure get server logs. All this we have here. So just in case you are having any issues with the connectivity, you can try all this. And then we have already seen the allow CORS flag with Appium command. Okay, so this was just kind of a information that we have already covered all this in our earlier session, and just in case you are facing any issues, you can go and check there. Okay, so now coming to our session builder, we have this here. Now at this point, if I click on start session, I'm getting this option, failed to create session because automation name and other capabilities like platform name etc cannot be blank. So here, based on our device and the application we are using, we have to connect to test, we have to add all the desired capabilities here. So you can keep on adding it here. You can give the name, then it is the type, whether it is a text, boolean, number etc, and its value, and we can keep on adding by clicking on this plus button. The other way is we can go to the JSON representation and we can put all our desired capabilities as a JSON here, and then the same thing will reflect here. This also we have covered in the last session. So you can see we have all these capabilities that we have to add. We have to add the automation name, the device name, the platform name, the platform version, and then we also have to add our app information. And app information we can either give by directly giving the location of our APK file, or we can give some other values of our app like the app package and app activity. Okay, so here let me first start a emulator or attach a physical device. So we have already seen all this, how to set up a real device and then use it for automation, and then how to set up a emulator and then use it for automation testing. So for now, for this particular session, I am attaching my real mobile device to my laptop, and then whenever you do this, if you get the prompt on your mobile device for allow USB debugging, you can allow it. And also, if possible, use a separate device which is not your primary device. Use a device that you do not use for your primary activities, so in case anything goes wrong, we are safe and we do not lose any of our data or application, or we don't compromise our security. So if possible, use a separate device. And if possible, I will try to show you my device screen on the desktop. I'm using this software called Visor, and this I'm using just to show my mobile screen here. It is not required for you, so it is just for showing my mobile device and screen here. Okay, and now if I go on my command line or terminal, I will open a new tab of my terminal and say ADB devices, and it should list my device with the device ID, or this is the device name we can give in our Appium Inspector desired capabilities. And also this will only come when you have allowed USB debugging on your device. And in the last session we have already seen, to allow USB debugging on your device, we go to settings, and then we go to, like on my device I go to system management, or system management here, then here about phone, and then first we tap on the software version or build number 7 times, which will make you a developer. And then if you go back to settings and go to your system management, you will see this developer option, and when you go to developer option, you will have a option to allow USB debugging, and only after this you will be able to use your mobile device for doing testing with Appium, or connecting your mobile device with your system and use it for testing using Appium. Okay, so we have covered this in the earlier session as well, and this navigation may differ for different devices for different operating systems. So you can check on your device. Basically you can just search that for my particular device or for my particular Android operating system, what is the navigation to enable USB debugging. Okay, and then we have done this. So now I have to give all these information automation name. So this automation name I can get by using this command Appium driver list. So if I say Appium driver list, you can see all the Appium drivers we have, and for Android this is what we are using, UI Automator 2. So this is what we will use here. And then I actually have this JSON. I will very quickly use this so we can save some time. I will put it here, and I will save it, and you can see as I save it, it also gets, all these fields get populated. So if you do any changes here, it will get reflected here, and if you make any changes here, it will get reflected here. Okay, so we have added this automation name UI Automator 2, and this prefix Appium you can add, or you can just say that you can check this allow automatically add necessary Appium vendor prefixes on start. So that will anyways add this prefix itself. Okay, then device name we have already seen, we can get from this command adb devices, and this is my device name which I have already given here. So you can see here device name, and this is what I have given here. Then we have the platform version. So this is basically the Android version, and generally you will be knowing it, or you can get it from your mobile device settings, but otherwise you can run this command and this should show you the Android version or the platform version, which is 11 in my case. So this is what I have given here, platform version 11. And then so this is this information I have written here in case you have connected more than one device on your system. So if you run this command, you will get a message that you should specify which device. In that case you can use the -s flag and give the device ID. This device ID is what we get from this command adb devices, and then the rest of the command. So it will give you the platform version for your device. Then we have app. So here, as I told you, we can either use the APK file, we can give the location of APK file, or if we are using some application which is already present on the device, we can give its app package and app activity name, and then we can use it. Okay, so yes, so I have also written this information to get the app package. Suppose you don't have APK file and you don't want to use APK file, you want to use already existing application on your device, and you want to get the app package or app activity. In that case you can use this command. So for example, if I go to my device, and let's say I open some application. Let's say I open Google Classroom, so it is now on my device, and now to get its app package app activity, I can run this command adb shell. So if I run this command, let me see, if I say adb devices and if I use this command, so you can see I am getting this is my app package and this is my app activity. Okay, then there are some other some applications, some apps as well that can help you to get this details. Like there is a app called apk info, so you can get this apk info app from Play Store, and then it will show you all the apps which are present on your phone, and then you can select the app and get its app package and app activity. So this is just in case you want to use this app package and app activity and not the apk file. And this command, I can also say, I can just go to adb shell. So I am now in this shell, and then I can run the same command, which is dump sys window, and still I can get the details. Okay, I will press control, I will just exit from here. Yes, so now I'm back here. Okay, so this all this information I'm giving you so that in case you want to use all this a different way to connect to your app, you know the ways. Okay, now I have written all this here as well. We can also install this app to get all these details. Okay, now in my case what I'm using is a apk file. Okay, and in the earlier sessions also we have seen different apk files that we can use for testing. So all this we have already seen. We can get some sample apk files from Appium. We can also get some sample calculator apk files. Then this is from Bitbar, this is from Browser Stack, this is from Sauce Labs, then Test Project also has, and then this are coming from Catalan Studio. So all these are some sample apk files we can use for testing. Just in case you just want to use it for your own testing, you can use it. Otherwise, if you are using your own app for your projects, you must be having your apk files or the information like app package, app activity, etc. Okay, so we were here, and yes, so I have added this all this here. Okay, and now we are ready with this session. Now also, to make sure that next time when you want to start this session, you do not have to manually add all the things again, you can say save as here. So we have save as button. I will say this is real Android device capabilities, or you can give any name here, or I will just say real Android device demo. Okay, and this will come in this saved capability sets section. So you can see it has come here. So next time when I have to go, I will just have to click here and it will get populated in the desired capabilities. Okay, now so we have done all this, we have done until here. In case you want to use emulator instead of a real device, so we can also do that. Now the process of creating emulators, setting up emulators, doing all the hardware configuration, all the configuration, and then starting emulators, all this we have learned in the earlier sessions. There we also saw how we can create and start emulator using Android Studio and without using Android Studio. So just in case you have not watched, you can watch that, but for now I am directly going to list the available AVDs, that is Android virtual device, or we generally call it as emulator, by using the command emulator -list -avds, and you can see these are all the AVDs or emulators on my system, and this is what I will use. This is what we have created, and I will say emulator -avd and the AVD name, which is my AVD2 and I will start it, and you can see the emulator is getting started here. Okay, so you can see all this is now working. Okay, now in case you want to start the emulator in a new state without maintaining the old state, we can also add the flag hyphen no snapshot load. So if I use this, if I use this flag, I can stop the AVD by using this stop or power off button, or I can just press Ctrl C on the terminal. It will save the state of the AVD and stop it, close it. Okay, and now let us say I want to start it again but in a new state, so I will use this flag no snapshot load, and you can see it is also saying here it is doing a cold boot as requested by user, and now it will start our emulator. Now here if I go to because see here the emulator is running, so I will have to open a new command line or a new terminal window or a new tab. I am pressing command T to go to a new tab, and here if I say ADB devices, you can see now I have two devices connected. This is my real device and this is the emulator. Okay, again to get the Android version I will use this command. I will say ADB shell and this command, and here you can see because now I have more than one device, it is saying we should select a single device, and for that we will use -s flag and give the device ID. So I will say ADB -s and the device ID, which is this for my emulator, and then the rest of the command, which is this. And here it says it is using Android 14, so I can give that, or let me show you. I think I already have added it earlier. Yes, it is here. So here UI automation name is the Appium driver, which is UI Automator 2 that we are using. Platform name is Android, version we have given 14, and device name we have given emulator 5554, which has come from the ADB devices command. Okay, we can also get the API level if we want to, so I can run this, which is not required. Again I can say ADB -s and the name of the device and rest of the command. So this gives the API level of that particular Android version, but generally it is not required in desired capabilities. And then we will add all this here, so you can see what this is what I have added. Okay, now here, although I have not added the APK file or any application information like app package, app activity, still if I try to start the session, it will start. You can see it is starting session with my emulator. Okay, so it will still start the session, but of course we should be having the application that we have to test. So you can use the same APK file or whatever application you want to test, you can do that. For now I will just go back to my real device capabilities. So make sure you save all your capabilities. Okay, and maybe I can for now stop my emulator. Okay, it's done. Alright, now we will start the session. So this was the session builder part, and once you have added all the capabilities, all the session information, we will click on start session button, and this will open our session inspector. And you can see this is our session inspector, and here it is loading our application that we have given in the capabilities, and then we have this session inspector screen with all these home buttons and all these buttons here, all these tabs here. So this is what we are going to learn step by step, all the features, all the tabs, all the screens of Appium Inspector. Okay, so here this is our session inspector, and now the first thing is you will see a refresh source and screenshot here. So let's say if I go to some particular screen on my mobile device manually, let's say I go to this views and I go here, and you can see here it is not refreshed. So to refresh it here on Appium Inspector, I will use this button to refresh source, and you will see now it has refreshed it. Again, if I go back and again I refresh it here, it will get refreshed here. Okay, and then the rest of the header buttons. So these are the header buttons on the top of Appium Inspector, and these are used to do interaction with the device and control and interact the device and the application source. So these buttons, so here these buttons like press back, press home and app switch button, this will interact with the device like we have the device buttons, and this will change in case you are using Android or iOS. So suppose you have a iOS device connected here, then you will see the home button and maybe a button to invoke Siri, which is the default buttons there in iOS devices, but for Android we have back, home and app switcher buttons here. Okay, then we have context switcher here. So here you can see we have native mobile app and hybrid app. Now if your mobile app is created to be used as a native mobile app as well as a browser app or a hybrid app, web and hybrid app, in that case you can switch between these modes and then you can do your testing, or then you can record your actions based on which mode you want to test. So if I go here, this is my native app, and if I go to hybrid app mode, you can see if it is not available it will show you. Let me just start again and show you. I am starting the session again, and it will depend on if your app has that particular mode or view. So if I now go and click web hybrid app mode here, you can see here it says no additional contexts have been detected. Okay, so for this particular app it has not detected any additional context, so I will go back to the native app mode. And this is very useful because a lot of apps today are created as native mobile apps and also as a web mode or a hybrid apps. In that case you can decide which context you want to go to and test, and you can accordingly go from here, from this context switcher button. Okay, then we have here, this is refresh, which we have already seen. This is search for element. So for on your app, if you go here search element, and we have different selectors. Let's say I want to search by ID, and I will give the ID here and then say search. It will search and show us the device and also highlight it here. So this we will see later. Then we have recording. So here we can start our recording and then stop recording using this button. We will also see this later. And then this is to close session, quit session and close this inspector session. Okay, so these are the header buttons or the top buttons we have on our Appium Inspector. Okay, now let us go to the screenshot panel. So this is our screenshot panel here. Okay, which shows our app screen or the device screen. Okay, so this is our screenshot panel here, and then here you can see we have our app, and you can actually interact with the elements here. And then this is the app source, and whenever you select any element on the screen, it will also be highlighted in the source, and vice versa. If I go to the source and then select anything from here, it will get highlighted here. Plus, whenever I select an element, we also have these options to tap. If it is a text box or somewhere we can write something, we can also write something here and then press send keys, so it will write that text on that particular element or box. Then we have clear here, then we can copy the attributes of this particular element, and then we can also get the timing. So here you can see whenever I select any element, all its locators like id, xpath, and all the attributes are shown here. Okay, so let's say I get this xpath here, and then I go to search for element. I select xpath here and give it here and say search. So let me again maybe restart the session. If it has maybe some issue with the session, I'll just restart it and check. Okay, so I'm here. I will go to search xpath, give the xpath and say search. Okay, and you can see it says one element found with this particular xpath. Okay, I can select this and you can see the element is highlighted here also. And then we have all these options to tap and then also to send any keys, and we have this option find and select in source, so it will also show you the source here and select that particular element. Okay, now here sometimes we may have to do some gestures like swipe up, swipe down and other gestures. In that case, we don't have a direct button or some action here, any control here to do that. In that case, we can switch to tap swipe by coordinates button here. So if I switch here, you can now see where I am taking my cursor, it is showing me the coordinates. And then if I, let us say, I'll go back to the select elements, and first let me go to some screen where I can do some swipe actions. So let me go here. Yes, you can see here I can do some swipe actions. So here I will go to this tap swipe coordinates, and now I will do this swipe up, and you can see it is doing the action here. So this is my real device screen here, and you can see it is directly shown here very quick, but it takes some time on Appium Inspector. I will again do this, and you can see this swipe action is taking place here also. Okay, so if you have to do any of such gestures, you can go to this tap swipe by coordinates, and this even gets recorded. In case we are doing recording, all these actions will get recorded. Okay, now coming back to here, show element handles. So I can check this, and you can see it is showing me all the element handles, and this can be very useful because sometimes some elements are hidden, so their handles are hidden, and you can see this plus button here because some of these are hidden. So you can use this and check all the element handles. Okay, so we have seen this swipe gestures and then element handles we have already seen. This is how we can do it. Okay, then this button is to download the screenshot. So if I just show you, if I click this button, it will take a screenshot, and if I put it here, save, you can see it just takes the screenshot of that particular screen of the device. Okay, so we have seen all this. Now let us explore and understand the source tab. Okay, and this is the source tab. This is the source tab. You can see we can go it from this source here, and this is what will be shown. And here this will contain a tree view of the elements of our current screen. So whatever screen is loaded here, it will show all the backend HTML with a tree view, and we can also interact with the app and elements using this app source. Okay, so this is what we can do. and we have already seen the search here. We can search elements by using the search button here. Okay, so this is what it has. Also you can see here we have option to toggle attributes, so this can be useful. Generally it will show only the main attributes and their structure here, but in case you want to go deeper, you can here toggle attributes like this. So you can see it will go show all these things as well. We can also copy this XML source to clipboard, and then we can download it as a XML file as well. Okay, now coming to the next tab, which is the commands tab. Okay, and here on this tab you can see different options to execute different Appium commands through the Appium Inspector GUI. So for example, let us say if I go to keyboard, we have options to press some key codes, then hide keyboard, check is keyboard shown. So if I say is keyboard shown, it will check on the screen, and you can see I'm getting false because keyboard is not shown there. Okay, similarly if the keyboard is already there and I want to hide, I can do that. Then we have actions for file transfer, push file, pull file, then clipboard, app management. If we have to execute any script, we can also do it here. Then you can see all the system related commands, session related commands, web commands, navigate to, get URL, back, forward, refresh. Then all these context related window W3C commands, get window handle, close window, create window, all these are here. Okay, so we can use any of these commands directly with the Appium Inspector GUI, and when the command is executed, in a pop-up it will show the result of returned by the command as we have seen. So is keyboard shown is shown as false here. Okay, now the next command is gestures command, and this is quite interesting. So here we can create gestures. Now I had created some earlier gestures, so don't worry about this. This I had created while doing some testing, but in case you find your gestures command section completely empty, that's fine. So here you should be seeing a plus button. You can click on the plus button and you can create new gestures. So when you click on the plus button, you will see a screen something like this, which is called as the gesture builder. And let's say we want to create some gesture. Let's say we will do swipe up, swipe down gesture. Okay, so let me refresh my screen, and I'll just refresh and go to the top. Maybe I'll have to start the session again. Okay, and I'm manually going to a screen where we can do some swipe up, swipe down. Okay, I'm here. Okay, now I will go to the gestures tab and click on plus button here. So I will click on this plus button here, and now the first thing I will have to do is, for doing swipe up, swipe down, I will first have to put my finger somewhere on the screen, and let's say I have to swipe up, so I will put my finger somewhere at the lower section, bottom section of my screen. So let's say somewhere here, or here, somewhere here. You can see it is showing me all the XY coordinates. So I have to put my finger here and then press it and swipe up and then release it. So this is what I will do. I will first move my finger, and here I can also set move by pixel or percent. I will select pixel, which will be good because it will also help in doing the same action in different resolutions. Okay, and I will select this, and you can see it has taken the coordinates here. Okay, also if you want to set some time for this gesture to happen, you can do it here. You can give it in milliseconds here, but for this I just have to do it instantly without having any wait time, or I don't have to add any time here. So I have just put my finger here and you can also see this point. Now after this, after moving my finger here, I will have to press. So then I will click on this plus button to do the next action or gesture, which is pointer down. Okay, so I will say pointer down, and left right is not required. Left should be fine here. We don't have any right thing here. Then let us say after that I will, let's say, pause for some time, maybe 500 milliseconds. Okay, and then after that I will have to move up or swipe up. So again I will add the next action as move. So after pressing or putting the pointer down or pressing my finger, I will have to move, and this time I will have to move, let's say, until here. Okay, until here. So you can see it has taken the coordinates here. Okay, and then after that I will have to release the finger, or I can say pointer up. So I am saying pointer up. Okay, now this time after pressing your finger and then swiping up or moving, this time is important. So you can see here, when we manually swipe, if we do it, if we take some time, it is going slowly, but if we just do it very fast, it swipes down to a larger extent. So here the time matters. For now, let us say I will say maybe 700 milliseconds. Okay, and now this is fine. I will try to run it and check. So maybe this is some connection issue, so I'll save it as, I will say, this is untitled gesture. I will have to give it some name. I'll say swipe up demo, and I will save it. And let me just start the session again, and I'll manually go to this views screen, refresh the screenshot here. Now go to gestures, and now I will go to this swipe up demo. You can see as I click here, it is also showing me what it will do on the screen with this red mark here. I can go to edit, or I can also directly play it from here. So if I play it from here, you can see it is doing swipe up, and it has done it. Now if I again play it, it will again swipe up. Okay, now suppose I will try to refresh my screen, and I will go to edit, and here instead of having 700 milliseconds after I have moved my finger to here and put the pointer down, that is pressed my finger here, and then I have to move it, this time, this moving up time from here to here, this time if I, let's say, decrease to 300 milliseconds. Okay, and now if I try to run it, so you can see this time it was a little faster. Okay, I will save it and play it. Okay, so this time it was faster, and it has covered a larger screen because we have changed this time. Okay, I will again go here, I will refresh my screen. Okay, and then I will go swipe up demo and run it, and you can see this is how it will work. Now let's say I will also add a swipe down gesture. Okay, now if you are wondering why we have these different tabs here, we can add multiple tabs that I will show you in a moment. For now, let us very quickly do swipe down. In that case, first I will have to move. I will again use pixel here, I will have to move my finger somewhere here on the top, and then I will have to say pointer down. I will then pause, let's say for 500 milliseconds, and then I will say move, and here I will give the point where I have to move, and then again you can see here we can set the time, and then I will have to say pointer up. And if I will first save it. I will say swipe down demo, save as, maybe refresh my session, and I will refresh my screen here, go to gestures. First let me do swipe up, and then I will try swipe down, and you can see it is doing this actions here. Okay, so we have seen this gestures tab. We can also do drag and drop. You can try drag and drop. So let us say on this device, if you are using the same APK file, you can use any of your applications, but in case you are using this, so let me also show you this. I have taken from this APK file, I have taken from this API Appium sample APK files. So if you go to this link which is there in the document, this document link will also be there in the description of the video. So here you can see this app is for iOS, this API demo is for APK, that is Android. And if I go here and then download it from here, you can get this APK and then you can use the same application. Okay, let me go back to gestures. Yes, so if you are using this here in this particular application, when you go to, I think it is an app, when you go to app, you will see maybe it is in the activity, you can find drag and drop. Let me try to check where it is. I will go to okay, yeah, from the main screen, if you go to views, you will see drag and drop here, and you can actually drag, hold and drag and do a drop action. So you can hold a particular circle, then you can drag it and drop it. So this drag and drop, you can try using the gestures. So if you want, you can pause this video and try it yourself, and then you can come back and see what I have done. So I'll just show you now what I have done. If I go to this drag and drop and go to edit, so you can see this is what I have done here. So we move our finger to a certain location, so which is the item that you want to drag. So if I again go on my drag and drop here, so you can see if you compare this screen with the pointers here on the screen, let me see if I can also just refresh. Yeah, you can now see it clearly. So this is what we are doing. We are getting this particular ball or circle, taking it and dragging it and dropping it here. So first we move our finger here, then we say pointer down, that is press our finger, then we can pause for some time, then again move it to the location where we want to drop, and then say pointer up. Okay, so this is what we do, and you can also try this. You can see it has done the drag and drop action. Okay, then we can also do zoom gestures. Now this is where we will use two fingers, and this is the reason. So if I just show you, so you can also, if you want, before I show you, if you want to try it yourself first, you can pause the video, try it yourself, and then come back and see what I have done. So I will just again go back to zoom in gesture that I created earlier, and if I go to edit, you can see here this time we will use both these two fingers, and that is the reason we have now also added this new tab here. Okay, so this is, that means these two actions will happen simultaneously, and because we know when we have to zoom in, zoom out, we have to use two fingers, and that is the reason this I have given name finger 1. And here we move, you can see here in the on the screen also what it is doing. We are moving our pointer here. This is the first finger. I have given this tab name as finger 1. We are moving the pointer here, or we are moving out the finger here, pressing the finger or saying pointer down, which is second action here, then pausing, then again moving it to the outer part of the screen, and then releasing the pointer. And then for finger 2 also similar things, moving our finger here, pressing it, then moving until here, and then releasing it. So move, pointer down, pause, move, pointer up. And if I have to show you this in action on this particular application, if you go to, I think, views, and scroll down and go to web view, yes, I think on this page we should be able to do this action, zoom in, zoom out. So let me just connect it again, and I will first manually go to this views, web view, refresh my screenshot on Appium Inspector, go to gestures, and this is my zoom in. I will play. I think some issue, yeah, I'll have to refresh and then check. I'll have to restart it again, the session. I will go here, refresh, go to gesture, zoom in, and yes, you can see it has zoomed in. And then if I say zoom out, it is zooming out. And if I show you zoom out action, the same thing, it's just that it will be reverse. We will start from here, we will put our pointer here, and then we will press it down and move it towards the inner side of the screen. And for the finger 2 as well, the same thing from here till here. So we can see finger 1 and finger 2 actions here. Okay, so similarly now you can understand with the gestures tab we can actually now do any kinds of gestures. So for doing any gesture, anything on your screen, we have to use the fingers, and then we have to tap and then move somewhere, and then press it, release it, and we can do gestures by single finger or multiple fingers. So all that is now possible using the gestures in Appium Inspector. Okay, so you can try some more gestures and let me know in the comments what was your experience, and if you have any questions about this, that also you can let me know. Okay, now next tab we have is the recorder tab. So I will just go back to my application, and then this is the recorder tab. Now this is the tab when we start recording using this start recording button, all the actions we do will get recorded here. So here if I, let us say, click on record, you can see recording is now on, and I go back to source tab and I do some actions. I will click here, say press tab. I think I'll have to just refresh. Okay, again I'll have to start the session. let me also manually close my application, and now I will start a fresh session. Okay, this is done now. So now I will say record, start recording, and I will do some actions. I will press the back button from here. Okay, and then if I have to do some swipe up gestures, I can go to this tab swipe to do any swipe gestures. I will use this. Then I will again press the back button. So now if I stop recording or pause recording, and now if I go to the recorder tab, you can see all this is recorded, and we have got the script or the code for our recording, and this code can be changed for any programming language you want. So you can change the language of the code if you want in Java or JavaScript or .NET or Python, Ruby, Robot Framework, WebDriver, IO, JavaScript. All that is possible now. You can get it from here. And also, so this is the actual code of what actions we did. But if you want some session setup code, that is we call as the boilerplate code, that is how we will connect to Appium server, how do we will connect to the session, and then we will do all this action, that you can get from this button, show or hide boilerplate code. So if I click this, you can also see we are getting everything right from the import statements. So this is in Java, so import statement and starting a class and then setting up the Appium session with all the desired capabilities. This is where we are starting the Appium server, and then we are having all these tests to do our actions, and then we also have a tier down where we are quitting the driver or closing the session. Similarly, if I see this in JavaScript, you can see all this is here. For Python also, everything is here. Okay, so this can be very useful when you are creating your Appium projects and framework. You can use Appium Inspector to record your actions and gestures, get the code for your programming language, take it from here, and then you can use it in your projects or frameworks. Then we have option to copy this, then we can clear the actions from here. Okay, so this is all what we have seen. The record button, we can stop recording, we can check the scripts generated, we can change the language of the generated code, and we can also use this button to get the boilerplate code, okay, with all the session information. Okay, this boilerplate code is also available in the session information tab, which we will see. So this is the session information tab. Here you can see all the details about the session. So which is the next tab, session information. So here in this particular tab, you can see details about the session, that is the session ID. We can see the session URL. So sometimes we may have to use this session URL in our code or framework, so you can get it from here. Then all the server details like host, path, port, and you can scroll it down to see the version, and then this is the version of Appium we are using, and then all these details here. Then this shows the session length, so you can see the session is currently running, and this shows the length of the session. Any other session details will be here. Then the app ID of the current active app is also shown here. Okay, then again we have the boilerplate code for this particular session, and we can get this code for different programming languages from here. So this can also be very useful. If you want to get the code to start this session, we can get the code from here. Okay, and this is what is mentioned here. We see all the session details, and then this part where we can see the boilerplate code that we can use to create a session with the currently used server and session details. Okay, so these are all the different screens, tabs, parts, features, and functionality of Appium Inspector. So we have covered the the complete Appium Inspector. We have covered all these topics. I hope this was very useful. If you have any questions, you can let me know in the comment section, and if you want to send me any message, any other thing you want to discuss with me, you can send me in the comment section. I will see you in the next session. Thank you for watching, and never stop learning.